Hello, Cancer Rising, fellow Cancer Rising. I am one too. It's Mandy Ray of Ecstatic Astrology, and I'm here to give the Venus retrograde in Leo overview. It goes July 22nd through September 3rd, but I'm giving actually through October 9th when Venus finally moves into Virgo. So we're going to do that swath of time. So buckle up. It's a long video and get your calendars out because I'm going to spit dates at you. I do have an infographic that I'm going to draw all over and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been doing it that way, whatever, doing it the best way I can to cover this much time. So we'll talk about where it is for you, and then what the major points of the Venus retrograde are. And then we'll go into a breakdown of day by day. Sometimes it goes day by day. So we'll go through to October 9th. And then I'll do a second video on the nodes moving. The eclipses start October 14th. So I'll do a video from October to December. That'll probably come out in a couple weeks. So you'll have the whole last half of the year. All right, let's dive into Venus retrograde, which, by the way, the shadow is even longer. So July 22nd through September 3rd is the actual retrograde period. The shadow is when it reaches 12 degrees, which is where it will retrograde back to. It goes to 28, turns around, goes all the way back to 12 degrees of Leo, turns back around, goes back, passes 28 again, and that's when we leave the shadow, which is October 7th. So the actual retrograde shadow is June 18th through October 7th if you're looking for a time frame. What is Venus retrograde? It's a bit of a rebranding. It's been a good way to describe this in Leo because Leo is so much about how we're seen. It's about our creativity, what drives us, our inner child, romance, children, play, fun. That's Leo. So Venus retrograde is a reevaluation, right? Like we're seeing our values maybe shift or really digging in and trying to, maybe if it's been something that's like clarity, figure out what we're being driven by, our creative impulse. So it's going to square Uranus and Jupiter 3 times. That square is going to change a lot of things and shift our perspective, I think, especially according to values, what we love, money, that sort of thing, and especially for Cancer rising. So let's pull this up here. Oh, buddy, here we go. I told y'all I am one too. So, like, we're going to experience this together, okay? So, first up, we got some dates over here. We've got the shadow, which I just mentioned, June 18th through October 7th. And then we've got the Venus star point. That'll be October 13th. That's when Venus and the sun come together. You can track those. The last few years, I believe 2015 and 2007, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. Wait, I got it up here. Oh, come on. 2015, 2007, 99, 91. Those were all Venus retrogrades in Leo. So that's something to note. So let me get back to my thing here. Let's go over the houses that are involved in this for you. So Leo is your second house, which is money, assets, values, self-worth, material gain. It's what you love, what you find comfort in. And here we are. Leo is on your second house. Okay. So Venus is retrograde there. So for you, rebranding could be monetary in some way. I mean, I know that I would like to make more money. My business has suffered. And I think that's because I've split it in two because I'm doing a music thing too. So that's just personal experience. And I can speak to that because I'm trying to get a hold of what it means for me, right? In my second house of finances, in what I value, what I spend money on. And you have to understand that this is a fixed fire sign, right? So we tend to be pretty fixed with what we want in this area. So to have it kind of rattled by Venus retrograde is going to be very interesting. This could result in a turnaround of fortune. If you haven't made a lot of money, maybe this is when it turns around for you. How that happens is based on the squares to Taurus. Okay, another fixed sign, a fixed earth sign. This is your 11th house. The 11th house is large groups of people, networking goals, future friend groups. Okay. Jupiter is expansion, it's abundance, it's a benefic. By the way, Venus is a benefic. I mean, they're both planets that bring benefit typically. The thing about Venus is retrograde, it can be more internal, but it can also just change perspective, change what you value, right? What you love. And so relationships come up here. Jupiter is expansion, it can have meaning. It's more of a philosophical type planet, right? So it's expansion of the mind, it's expansion of anything, it makes it bigger, more abundant, you can say. It also rules excess, though. So you have to think about it in that way. Uranus is upheaval, change, revolution, freedom, rebellion sometimes. It's the rule breaker. So it definitely shifts. It's unexpected events sometimes. And it's happening in your 11th house of large groups of people, right? So, I mean, your network could completely change, or maybe you're seeing a change and you have to redo the way you like reach them monetarily speaking. So like if you know a different group of people, how can you diversify maybe and reach them through for your business instead of maybe just friends or maybe just something else? Or maybe it's about like deciding to connect to a completely new network of people in order to expand the material asset part of your life. Okay, how do you do that? So your values are changing in this 11th house area as well. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So even your 11th house is looking to this Venus retrograde and saying you need to get comfortable with yourself here, right? With what you actually want. And also creative. There's a certain sense that we need to get creative, and we're seeing something shift here in our value system that shifts maybe what we want to spend our money on or makes a decision on spending money. Any of these things are possible. So the first square to Jupiter was June 11th. So you can look back at that. Sometimes excess comes in. I know I was doing the excess thing myself for sure. Open pocketbook, spending it on travel. Jupiter rules travel, okay, with my friends. Isn't that funny? And so this could see a shift in goals then, right? August 22nd, that second square, Venus to Jupiter. Is it going to be more excess? Has something changed? Are we seeing the reverberation of June 11th somehow? Do we need to, is this a moment of awareness that we need to change something? Or that we need to, maybe the excess is necessary. Maybe something happens and you need to move, and all of a sudden you're spending money on a rental while you're selling your house, things like that. Okay. September 17th is the third square, and this is with Venus direct. So August 22nd, Venus is still retrograde. September 17th, Venus is direct again. Okay. So it's going to do that 3 times. What do I need out of my network? What are my goals? How are they changing? My values around my goals? What is my heart want in the comfort area of my life, in the money area, in the assets area, in the self-worth area? Okay, how can I creatively approach this area? That's another good way to look at it. All right, so then July 2nd was the first square of Venus to Uranus. Now this is the change, right? This is the shift. This is the maybe something out of left field, July 2nd. Okay. I believe these are really good. I like Uranus. I think it can shift things in a way that we need, but sometimes it can be a rug pull. You know what I mean? So it's better to just kind of like be aware going into Uranus transit if you can, and go, okay, what needs to change? If you're talking about your networking, or you're talking about large groups of people, maybe the community things you're involved in, goals for your future. Are you setting new ones? Is that coming up? Does money need to be spent on it? Does time need to be spent on it? Is it uncomfortable? Right? So that happened first, July 2nd. It will happen again August 9th and again September 29th. The August 9th one is the retrograde one. Okay. So this is the one, I think, the retrograde ones may be where we become a little more aware of the theme of it. I mean, there's several moments in this in which we will become aware. I don't know why I'm not using my mouse because I'm just drawing stuff all over the place. Excuse me. I'm trying to look at when Uranus goes retrograde because I know it will, and I just can't remember when. August 28th. Okay. All right, I need to put that in my thing. And then what about Jupiter? September 4th. Okay. September 4th and August 28th. I'm going to write that down because I did not have that written down. I think that's important. September 4th, Jupiter retro, August 28th, Uranus retro. Now you and I both learned together. All right, thanks for bearing with me on that. I had to see because I wanted to see like the difference between a Venus retrograde square Jupiter direct and a Venus direct square Jupiter retrograde, right? So that's going to be just another layer, just another layer. I am the master of layers here. Let's dig into some other stuff, okay? Now that I took that little pause, excuse me. But I wrote it down for when we go through the dates. Other considerations. So the eclipses have just moved. I'm not fast with this. I've noticed that when I'm taking my time because I don't want to mess up, because this is where the eclipses are. They've moved into Libra and Aries, South Node in Libra, North Node in Aries. This is your 4th and your 10th house. The 4th house is home, family, and emotional security. The 10th house is career, achievement, authority, mastery. So I really love this for us Cancer risings. Okay. The South Node is what we're letting go of. It's what we're changing, what we're hopefully, you know, not repeating the same old patterns that have gotten us in trouble, kind of a thing. It's the tail of the dragon, something in our home and family. Um, and that could be literal property in your home, like something is changing there. You could be, I mean, it could be as simple as putting in a new bathroom, but it could also be moving. It could be like, oh, my daughter's driving because that's happening to me, right? Things like that. Home and family changes. North Node is in your 10th house. It's putting a lot of focus on your career and achievement and success. And it's Mars ruled. Okay. So that's really taking action on this 10th house stuff. Now, these are related to Venus retrograde because Libra is ruled by Venus. I thought that was a circle. Venus is over here in your 2nd house of finances. Okay. So this also has to do with money. What do you value? What can you let go of? And what can you achieve in order to obtain more material gain? Whatever it is you value. It may be more time. It may be more leisure. Whatever it is, how do you spend it? This is all linked to that. Okay. Venus is trine the North Node, sextile, and those are very supportive, the South Node. Now, I'll spend more time on those nodes when I do the video on the eclipses, because those happen October 14th and 28th, I think. Don't quote me on that. All right, the other thing going on, Saturn and Neptune over here in your 9th house, which is higher education, travel, philosophy. I mean, so Saturn is bringing some structure to this area, okay? Like the 9th house can be teaching. It is also known as the house of the guru. Saturn really wants to put to form what is otherwise just imagination in this area. So you can be spending a lot of time working on things like this. Like, for instance, me, like I'm sharing this Venus retrograde stuff. I had to put a lot of work into these videos and these slides, right? So It's important to understand what's happening there, but your imagination can take form during this time. So what can, you may be like, I am working just to travel. I just want to travel. That's how I feel. I would just love to travel all the time. I love it. Saturn's really like, well, you need to work harder if you want to have the money to do so, right? Now, the other thing is Neptune's there. Neptune has been there for quite a while, and it can cause illusion, delusion. It can also be mysticism and intuition. So that's also coming into this ninth house area, travel, philosophy, education. Mars and Mercury are going to be here in your third house. Now, you don't see a thing for them because I'm going to have to draw them because, okay, so Mars is the X. Okay, I've already got a system down. Mercury is a question mark. Right now, Mercury is in Leo right this moment, and I'm going to talk about that when I go over the dates, but it will eventually be in Virgo, and so will the Sun. All of these are going to oppose Saturn. This is your third house, which is communication, decision making, local community, short trips, siblings is another third house topic. And it's Virgo. So Virgo can be health and healing and habits, and it can be very busy here. A lot of communicating, a lot of learning, a lot of talking, a lot of listening, a lot of teaching, a lot of short trips and doing things and running around, right? So all of those are going to oppose Saturn in your ninth house, which really just wants to go travel and escape and get out or like learn something new or teach or do this other thing. So that can be kind of frustrating. It squares the 6th, 12th axis, which can highlight health as a thing. So I mean, I've had to deal with some health struggles with Mars opposite Saturn. So Mars was opposite Saturn July 20th. That is, it's July 24th when I'm recording this. So it was about 4 days ago, but it was absolutely stressful for me and I did not like it. Now, Mars is a malefic. Mercury will do it. The sun will do it. And I'll go over those dates. But it's important to know the axis that this is on as well. Because eventually those things are going to come up. All right, well, let's hop into the rest of the dates, okay? So we've got, let me pull up my notes here. If I don't do that, then I'm lost. I got my notepad. All right, we got it here. Oh, it's getting smoother though. This is the 4th video. They're about 45 minutes long. It's getting smoother. First quarter square of the moon in Scorpio. I start off with this, even though I'm not going to go over every first quarter square. But it's important to note, okay, that the moon will be square on July 25th. This is the sun here. That's what I'm going to use as the sun. I'm going to put Mars in its place. Mars right now is in Virgo. And I'm going to put Mercury in its place. Remember, Mercury is the question mark. Where's my stamp? I love that Mercury is a question mark. Mercury is also in Leo. I don't know what I just said. Okay. So we got all the other planets, Mars, Mercury, and the sun. And the moon is a heart. Okay. It's in Scorpio. This is July 25th that I'm looking at, July 25th, just so you can follow along. First quarter square of the moon, crisis in action. That means we take action on whatever the new moon was about. The 5th house is creativity, inner child, fun. So this could be a little bit of a stressful time, July 25th. I mean, can't say for sure because we hadn't gotten there yet and I don't predict, but this is for Tuesday. All right, so I start off with that because it will also square Venus retrograde and Mercury eventually. And, the moon squares so that when it first happens, maybe a kick in the butt, especially from Scorpio. Scorpio is deep, it can be dark, right? Now, we've got July 27th is Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde. Okay, so this is also another moment where we just made the awareness kind of comes in what we're dealing with. There's Mercury, there's Venus, they're going to come together, and this is July 27th. Our minds are on money. Mind on my money and my money on my mind. That's the way it's working. All right. Because Mercury in Leo is intimately aware of what our heart wants. It knows. It's the mind-heart connection, Mercury and Leo, okay? So when it hits Venus, which is also heart-based, retrograde, it's kind of reevaluating those, trying to get to the heart of it. Our minds and our hearts are very, very in sync. So I look at July 27th as a good date, even though Venus is retrograde. There's nothing to be afraid of. A date to maybe communicate, to seek out things that you need, especially with money, and maybe research if you're trying to look at spending your money on something. It's a good day for that. July 28th, Mercury is out of Leo. And now Mercury is in its own home sign. That's right, it's in Virgo. Your third house of communication, siblings, short trips. We went over this earlier. And it's also notated down here. So Mercury in Virgo in your third house will eventually oppose Saturn. We'll get there. I just want to draw your attention to it. Anything in Virgo will oppose Saturn. July 29th. I love July 29th, 30th, and 31st. This is July 29th, 30th, 31st. Gets a thumbs up. It's a good day. Grand Fire trine and Grand Earth trine. So first we have the moon, which will be in Sagittarius, which is your 6th house of health. And it'll trine the North Node in your 10th house of career, and it'll trine Venus retrograde in your 2nd house of assets and money. So this looks like something with work and money can really come together on July 29th. It's a grand fire trine. It really moves something, okay? Moon, Venus, North Node. Love it. Now, it is brief because it's the moon, but it's still a good day, July 29th. And then we've got July 30th, where the moon moves into Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is an earth sign. So if you know what the other earth signs are, you'll know that I'm about to say it's a grand earth trine because it's moon, trine Jupiter, trine Mars. Mars is the X. Grand earth trine. This is to your 7th house of relationships, your 3rd house of local community, short trips, siblings, things like that, and your 11th house of networking and large groups of people. So I'm interested to see what the 30th and 31st bring. Now, Mars trine Jupiter gets you moving. All right. And that's really the 31st as well. So looking forward to those are probably some of the best days. I mean, coming up. I love it. Now we go through to August 1st, and it is like a downer. Okay. August 1st is the full moon in Aquarius. Now, why is that a downer? Well, Mercury is opposite Saturn. All right. Yay. So let's put the moon where it's going to be, Aquarius. And let's go ahead and show you that opposition. There's the sun to the moon, 2nd house of finances, 8th house of investments, shared resources, other people's money, and it's square to Jupiter. Jupiter's in your 11th house of networking and goals. Maybe you have a goal, means you have to invest money to get there. That can be a little stressful. Generally, a T-square is stressful, okay? It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is opposing Mercury from your 3rd to your 9th house. So something about local community and travel, education, listening, communicating, learning, teaching, whatever this is, there is an obstacle on this date. And it's forcing you to really put your mind to work to fix it or figure it out, basically. So yeah, take that for what you will, August 1st. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here we go. All right. Now we got coming in August 6th through 8th, Sun squared Jupiter. I give it a few days. Sun squared Jupiter. That's extra excess. Be careful. Let's see, this August 6th through 8th. I got to put this on my calendar. Don't spend a bunch of money. Because for us, it is more about money. And I say us as Cancer risings because it's not in everyone's 2nd house. All right. With Venus retrograde already in our 2nd house. And now this could be like, oh, wow, an unexpected surprise. Jupiter is a benefic. But generally speaking, maybe a goal or a friend group, wants to do something that's expensive, or we just don't care because we want to do it, or something of that nature. It's also back to school time. So, having to be extra around this time. But, generally not a bad thing, can just lead to excess. Then we have 8th through 10th, which is Venus square Uranus. Okay. So that was August 6th through 8th for the Sun square Jupiter. I'm not going to type it. And then we got August 8th through 10th. I have August 9th listed over here. So I'm just going to draw around Venus retrograde. Whoops, no, wrong one. Draw it. Venus retrograde square Uranus. Now, economically speaking, it's a weird one. Okay. Shakeups, upheaval, people, revolution. We want freedom. I mean, it could be unexpected events. It could be we are trying to free ourselves from something, from a goal maybe that costs money, or is maybe we're setting a new goal, and like we have to actually set a goal to do something that we want to do, and we have to put our brains on it, right? So this is Venus square Uranus, could be something unexpected. Have that on your calendar, August 8th through 10th, August 9th being the exact date of the square. All right. We'll see. Something changes. What changes? I don't know, y'all. All right. August 13th is the Venus star point. That's when the sun and Venus come together. That's great. I love it, but it's still pretty square to Uranus. It's in our second house of finances. Should bring something good. That's what I think. I'm hoping, right? Or this is where we're like, okay, this is what I need to do. It's a message, an audience with the king of Venus star point. So August 13th is the Venus star point. All right, now where are we at? We are at August 15th through 17th with Mars trine Uranus. Okay, this is an interesting one. All right. Has nothing to do with Venus, really. But yes, it does, because Uranus is in Taurus, which is Venus ruled, right? So Uranus is enacting change in our 11th house of networking, goals, large groups of people, the future. It's really the big open world, leadership, things of that nature. Mars is in our 3rd house of local community, communication, learning, listening, short trips, running around doing stuff. Mars is action. Mars is survival. It's ego, and it's trine Uranus in our 11th house. So we are taking action on goals, or vice versa, setting goals based on something we're dealing with in our 3rd house. And that is August 15th through 17th. I'll type that up here. August 15th through 17th. Mars trine Uranus. All right. Now, August 16th, which is right in the middle of this, right? August 16th is the new moon. So if you'll notice, that means the new moon is going to be happening at the same time as Mars trine Uranus. This new moon is square Uranus. So Mars is trine, the new moon square. What is going on? Okay, here's the new moon. Remember, it's the heart. Mars is the X. And we've got that lovely trine, Mars to Uranus, change, freedom. We are acting on it. We're doing it. New moon is what we're starting a new cycle in, our finances, our money, our assets, our material gain. It's square to Uranus in the 11th house, right? So it's tense. There's some tension there. It's like maybe we're taking action, maybe almost it's shaking up our financial area or something. We are planting a seed to change something. Whew, goodness, that's going to be a doozy. August 16th. Whoop. New moon. Maybe it won't. That heart. New moon in Leo square Uranus. All right. Whew. Are you ready? It feels like it's going to be crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why. I hope it's going to be awesome. I just hope. Oh, August 22nd, Venus retrograde square Uranus. Okay. So here we are. Venus retrograde square, no, Jupiter. Gosh. So this is that second hit where we may do some excessive spending or something, or we just have to deal with both areas equally. It can be something that just expands. So Venus is money and love, second house money, material assets, gain, comfort. It's retrograde. It's like maybe got a different perspective. The new moon's just happened. It squares Jupiter. Jupiter's expanding our network, expanding our goals. You know, maybe we have some lofty goals and we're having to commit, and Venus retrograde is like, is this really what you want? Are you sure? So something here can be a little stressful, although I still think good things can come out of a Venus square Jupiter. That's just my personal opinion. All right. So August 23rd, Mercury retrograde. Here we go. This is the part that we haven't gotten to yet, isn't it? All right, Mercury retrograde in Virgo. We got it down here in our third house. We'll stamp it because it's a little further into the third by this date, okay? Station's retrograde, so it gets a few question marks. That's Mercury retrograde, all right? Mercury turns retrograde August 23rd at the same time that the sun enters Virgo. So we get this double dose of Virgo, and Mars is still there, okay? So sun's leaving Leo, and now it's in Virgo. Now, third house, communication, local community, short trips, listening, teaching, siblings, sacred spaces. That's another good one for the third house. This is all of this is going to oppose and trine Jupiter and Uranus, oppose Saturn, trine Jupiter and Uranus. Okay, so just a heads up, that's what's going to happen. Mercury station's retrograde almost squared Uranus. Doesn't quite get there though. It's almost as if it saw that it was going to have to meet up with Uranus in some way, and it was like, oh, let me go. I think I left my keys at home. And it turns around to check out the third house again. Are you communicating well? Is your health okay? Are you, you having to drive a lot? That kind of a thing. The sun moves in there as well. And then we've got Mars trine Pluto, August 25th. This is something that I haven't really touched on Pluto much, and it's square the node, so it should be touched on. Pluto's in our seventh house of relationships, okay? That's empowerment and disempowerment. It can be romantic friendships. It can be cooperative partnerships. It can be clients. That's what the seventh house is about. Mars in the third house is trining Pluto in the seventh. That looks pretty empowering. So I like that. August 27th, though, that was August 25th. August 27th, Sun opposes Saturn. Sad face. I'm not looking forward to it because I did not like July 20th. All right. I did not, I'm not really looking forward to August 1st with Mercury opposite Saturn. And August 27th, we've got the sun opposite Saturn. And that, again, can feel like an obstacle, a blockade. It is square to our sixth house of health. I don't want people to sleep on that. If you have anything in Sagittarius or Gemini, it's something to be aware of because this will square it. And I mean, for instance, July 20th, when Mars opposed Saturn, I got ulcers all in my mouth. It was awesome, man. Like, awesome. So awesome. I have a lot of Sagittarius stuff, though. So that square is real. And Saturn's already doing that. So these hits are going to, like, I'm just going to be really clean eating through all this. All right. And then Mars enters Libra the same day. So I'm going to erase the X in Virgo. We're going to put an X in Libra. We got Mars in Libra now. All right. So August 27th, Sun opposes Saturn, Mars in Libra. And one more thing. August 30th is the full moon in Pisces with Saturn. So here's the thing. August 27th, the sun opposes Saturn exactly. So then August 30th, when we have the full moon, the sun will be past its opposition, but it is still there with Saturn, full moon in Pisces. In our ninth house of travel, adventure, truth, education, learning, that's where the full moon will be. Okay. So, I mean, if you've planned travel, a full moon generally is a culmination. And with Saturn, it could be that you've been working towards it, right? It doesn't have to be all bad. Saturn is ruled by Jupiter and Taurus. Okay. So in our 11th house of goals. So that's all, it's a little better than Saturn in Aquarius, let's say. But the sun opposing it in our third house square that 12th house axis could be weird, is all I'm saying. I don't quite know what it's going to feel like. Hopefully not too bad. Maybe we've done the work we needed to do and this is a culmination of it. And that's what I'm hoping, August 30th. All right. So then we've got September 4th. Actually, September 3rd. We got September 3rd and 4th. Venus direct, everybody. Applause, applause. And then September 4th, Mercury. September dollar sign. Oh my God. Mercury RX trine Jupiter. All right. So Venus goes direct in our second house of finances. Woo-hoo. Yay. All right. Well, hopefully something's changed for us around that time. We'll see. We'll see. And then Mercury retrograde, all these question marks here, trines Jupiter. That's good from the 3rd to the 11th house. So that means we can be making moves on some of our goals. Or the retrograde part of it kind of does make me nervous because Jupiter tends to expand anything it touches. And a trine is good, but you just never know. Mercury retrograde extra may not be like the best possible thing, but it also could be a time in which we are getting things done that we need, a much needed like revamp of something. Think maybe cleaning your apartment out or something like that. Okay. So then we can clear this out. Oh crap. I don't mean to open a lot of things on accident. Okay, so September 3rd, Venus direct. September 4th, Mercury trine Jupiter, Mercury retrograde trine Jupiter. Also, I skipped August 28th, Uranus goes retrograde, something to note. That's around the full moon in Pisces. September 4th, Venus direct and Mercury retrograde trine Jupiter. And then September 6th is the Mercury Cazimi trine Jupiter, which is Mercury and the sun coming together. So this just continues that Mercury trine Jupiter theme, but this is the sun there as well. So the sun and Mercury come together September 6th, and it's known as being in the heart of the king, an audience with the king. Cazimi is in the heart of the sun. Man, my words are getting jumbled. We're almost at the end, y'all. Almost. And then I have, I don't know, several to go tomorrow. That's okay though. We're gonna get it. It's a marathon with Saturn and Pisces these days. That's what I feel like. And Mars and Virgo. Here we go. Okay, September 6th, Mercury Cazimi trine Jupiter. Very good. Love it. Love it. September 8th, Sun trine Jupiter exactly. All right, so September 6th, Mercury Cazimi trine Jupiter. September 4th, Mercury RX exactly trines Jupiter. And then September 8th, the sun exactly trines Jupiter. So that whole in-between time is going to be very, very interesting for third house, 11th house topics. My communication, my decision-making, short trips, kind of daily routine, but less so than the 6th house. This is more like how I organize things and make decisions and communicate to my 11th house of networking goals and friend groups, right? So what are you doing around that time? What's going on? What's going on? That's what I want to know. All right. I think that's all pretty fortunate. So September 14th is the new moon in Virgo trine Uranus. All right. I love this. This is great. This is not a square. It's not a square. It's great. All right. Can I? Why is this doing this? Tell you what. I have these pauses that are so stupid, but I can't keep it from happening. I'm sorry. All right. New moon in Virgo. Here we go. Gotta stamp the little moon in there. It's the heart. Oh, look, it looks like a smiley face. Okay. And then Mercury retrograde is not retrograde anymore. It goes direct on September 14th. So you've got Mercury coming out of retrograde at the same time as the new moon in Virgo trine Uranus, which I think signifies a huge change. Mercury going direct anyway can signify a turnaround in something in third house topics. But then the trine to Uranus, which is change, revolution, freedom, upheaval, it's supportive. It's a new moon. We're planting seeds in our third house, local community, maybe. Siblings, maybe, to our 11th house networking. Something's changing there. So I'm really excited about this new moon, September 14th. And Mercury goes direct and clears a lot of the air here as well. So all the work we've been doing seems to pay off during this moon phase. And that's why I took away all the question marks, because it's now direct. So it's just one question mark. Mercury is confusing only a little bit when it's direct. That's how I feel. But I have Mercury in Sagittarius, so it's unfortunate. All right. September 15th through 18th. This is Venus square Jupiter. All right. Jupiter's retrograde at this point. Venus is direct. This is going to be interesting, right? So, and we're going to go ahead and do this because not long after that, the sun moves into Libra. So we're looking at September 15th through 18th. Venus direct square Jupiter RX. So Jupiter retrograde in the 11th house indicates we are internalizing this 11th house energy, which is sharing things with the world, basically networking, goals, future. We're internalizing it. What does it all mean to me? Is this the right thing for me? Venus direct is like, hey, we're over here trying to make money. You can't be questioning this right now. Okay. I think that's how that might come out. We'll see. We'll see how I do, right? I tell people it's going to be a great day, and sometimes they don't have a good day, and they're like, "Mandy, I didn't have a good day." And I'm like, "Sorry." All right, so September 19th, the sun opposes Neptune. It's kind of a brief thing. It's kind of spacey, and that's third house to ninth house. September 21st, the sun trines Pluto from Virgo. So that'll be third house to seventh house, which is maybe, like socializing with people. I could see that happening. Seventh house is relationships. And then we've got the sun in Libra, September 23rd. So this is when the equinox is, right? We've also got Mars in Libra. And we've also got the South Node in Libra, which when you see the sun and one of these nodes together, that's always an indication an eclipse is coming. Okay. So this is not exactly the eclipse moment, and it won't be until October 14th. But, we're getting close to it with the sun moving into Libra. All right. So September 24th, Mercury direct trine Jupiter again. So we still have Mercury in Virgo here in our third house of communication, local community, and short trips trining Jupiter for the third and final time to our 11th house. I love that triple trine to Jupiter with Mercury. Mars is opposing Chiron that day, though. So Mars is in Libra. I don't have Chiron here, but it's in the 10th house of career. So something there could be something sensitive between our home, family, and career, something said maybe or done that causes us to kind of spout off at the mouth or maybe take action. Mercury trine Jupiter, who knows? We'll see. Just be aware of that. And that is September 24th. September 28th, Venus squares Uranus retrograde. So Venus is direct. In fact, let me go ahead and erase that little retrograde since it's not anymore. No more retro. No more retro. Venus direct. Square Uranus for the last time. Now I've got that date over here. Yes, September 29th is the exact date. So I have September 28th through it's kind of through that full moon in Aries, which is September 29th. So let's see here. We'll just say 28th and 29th, even though it says just the 29th here. September 28th and 29th. We've got Venus direct square Uranus, RX. And we've got full moon in Aries here. All right. So this full moon in Aries is not aspecting anything. It's not an eclipse either. It is in the early degrees and it's at 6 degrees exactly. So the moon is there in Aries in our 10th house of career. It's a culmination point. And with Venus square Uranus, who knows what that's going to bring money wise? I mean, Uranus is retrograde, which is retrogrades are always more internal, but they're a redo. How do you rechange? How do you reshift? I don't know. Uranus is retrograde. I haven't quite gathered how Uranus works in retrograde. More internally, maybe. Things done in secret. I could see that, but Venus is square to it from our second house of finances. Venus is direct though. It's figured something out. So maybe this is also one of those just last minute pivot points, September 28th and 29th, based on maybe whatever the full moon is about. Who knows? So the other thing is around this time, Mercury in Virgo is trine Uranus. So this is definitely a moment of change. I don't exactly know. Yeah. Mercury trine Uranus at the same time Venus is square Uranus. That keeps happening. So maybe there's some benefit in our third house so look to the third house. If something is shaken up, look to Mercury and see what's going on, right? Then we've got Mercury trine Pluto. I mean, that's kind of a brief thing as well. Mars conjunct the South Node October 13th. That's going to be interesting. So let me clear all this out. Okay. Mars and the South Node come together, but that means something because that's October 3rd. October 1st, Venus trines the North Node and sextiles the South Node. Okay. So if we've got Venus doing that, that means Mars is doing that with Venus very closely. So Venus trine North Node, sextile South Node, Mars, October 3rd. Mars conjunct South Node. All right. See, it'll stick in your head if you see me type it, maybe. So what we've got here is Mars on the South Node, sextile Venus, which is trine the North Node. So this is fourth house, home and family. We're looking at what we want to do differently there based on Venus, maybe opportunity in our second house. And also that is supporting our 10th house of career, right? So this is really kind of a neat thing, I think. And then Mars being conjunct the South Node means it's also it's a 1 degree orb sextile with Venus, and they move together for a while. So I think there is some opportunity here in these areas, home and family, monetary, material gain or investment, and then career and achievement. Okay, so we're nearing the end, guys. Are you excited to hear me quit talking? Probably. October 7th, Mars is square Pluto. Okay. Now that is something that could be a little bit of a frustrating point where you realize something has to give between relationships and home and family. Okay. Could be a fight with your, kids and their stepdad, something crazy like that. Call me crazy, but that could be a thing that happens, right? But at the same time, Venus is at the anaretic degree of Leo. That is the degree of crisis in our second house of finances. That just means something here culminates after that big Venus retrograde. I don't think it's anything scary. It's just a moment when you go, oh, that was what this whole last 2 months was about, or whatever. So just keep in mind, October 7th, is that what I said? Mars square Pluto from your fourth house of home and family to your seventh house of relationships, and Venus at 29 degrees anaretic. That's how that word looks, in case you've ever wondered. And then October 9th is the date that ends it all, because Venus moves into Virgo. And that's going to be Venus in your third house of local community, communication, siblings, all the things that have also come up. And it will oppose Saturn, but we'll go over that in the next video, y'all. All right. I hope that you guys have found some enjoyment out of this, or guidance or help or any of that. I really appreciate you all watching. And yeah, I'll be back with the October through December video soon. I'm going to give myself plenty of time to do it, because these take a long time, as you can guess. I mean, this has been a pretty long video, and I hope that you can at least bookmark it and come back to it when you need to. So may you have a wonderful time. May we all Cancer risings have a wonderful time with this Venus retrograde in our second house. Maybe we'll all win the lottery and just share it with everyone. I want to do that, help everybody. All right, guys, ecstaticastrology.com. If you need to book me, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.